Hi folks, this is my fourth attempt at making this video of my crosscut sled. My first attempt seemed to have a picture of my dog in every frame, and as soon as I realised I didn't have a dog and it was me, that video had to go. In the second video I was so ashamed of my first attempt that I was too afraid to speak, and rather than present a silent movie, that had to go. In the third attempt, I kept referring to this sled as a miter sled. Since then it's been pointed out to me that it's really a bevel sled. And my dog didn't like that either, so that video had to go. Now hopefully this is my last attempt, and with a bit of luck I can get all my lies straight again and try and remember what I thought in the second video. So I shall now put this into the overhead stance and come back. Okay, here we are in the overhead perspective. Now, I'm sure everybody knows how to suck eggs, so I'm not here to teach you how to suck eggs. And in the same vein, I'm not here to teach you how to make a table saw sled. There's plenty of good articles and instructions on the internet, and if you follow the typical 5-cut method, you come up with your own design for a crosscut sled. Once you have that, and it's sitting on your table, then you can have a look at this video and try and ignore what you've seen beforehand and take note of my little sled. One of the features of this sled is that it's got two sets or set of crisscross T-tracks. Not that that's something special, but it does have in between it what I classify as skins. Now, it's divided into basically 6 or actually 8 parts. These 4 wings are static, and once you've cut them, screwed them down, they'll never move. These middle ones are interchangeable, so you can then change it from a 90 degree configuration to a 45 degree configuration, or whatever configuration you like in between. At the moment you'll notice it's set up in the 90 degree configuration. What I will do is show you how I change the skins. What I'll do is I'll get out my little manual screwdriver and undo it. And God, I hate these manual screwdrivers. They never have a reverse button on them. Rather than waste your time watching me unscrew it, I'll switch the camera off and come back when it's unscrewed. Okay, here we are back again with the screws taken out. I'd like to mention that I do like to use a manual screwdriver only because you can control the amount of pressure you exert in the screws, so you don't tend to over tighten and loosen it up so it can't be reused. Having said that, I told a lie because I did use a cordless drill, voila, but you'll notice that it was set on a very low setting, and when I use it, after I tighten the screw up, I still have to go through with the manual screwdriver to snug it up because I don't exert too much pressure on that. Okay, let's dismantle these. We'll remove the skins. One set there, set there, set there, and set there. Now you'll notice that these skins, which I affectionately refer to as sandwiches, are marked in on the inside where they fit. Why sandwiches? I must have been hungry at the time, and when I flipped them over they reminded me of a sandwich, so I called them a sandwich. Now you'll also notice here while we've got this is effectively, this bottom part here would be what you'd normally have as your base for a standard crosscut sled. All I've done is put these extra 9mm layer on with skins with T-tracks. As I'm sure that a few of you who have made crosscut sled have made the same mistake I have. You cut a 90 degree or used it in the 90 degree mode, and you thought to yourself, well, why the hell can't I do a 45 degree? Only to find that the 45 and the 90 degree meet down the bottom and create this floppy little bit that's flopping around like crazy here, only held together by about 1 centimetre of glue, and could potentially fly out and poke me in the eye, and that's why I always wear my glasses, prescription glasses, whenever I do sawing, just so I don't get hit in the eye. Anyway, you'll notice that what I've done, this is now hot off the laser, you can still see the burn marks there, and the holes are still intact, which I'll have to pop out. And I just realised I've got to countersink these holes, otherwise the screws will protrude a little bit too much. However, bear in mind, it's a very simple shape. Now, there's no reason why that can't be cut out on the table saw. Well, not so much a table saw, but at least the bandsaw. All right, you've got this little bit, but hey, you can make that cut that in half or whatever and work your way around that, or even just have that as a small insert. So there's no reason why you can't do the same on with normal woodworking machines. Anyway, I'll go and plug these, knock out these holes, countersink, and come back. Okay, here we are back with the skins. The sawdust blown off it. Let's put it into place and see how it fits. Tight fit, but hey, you expect that. Put that into place, tight fit, expect that as well. Now let's try the magical screws and see how well they line up. Well, that went in okay. Ditto. Oops. Look, again, I'll off camera tighten them up, snug it up and come back. Okay, I'm back with the screws put in. Isn't it incredible? It's my, what's his name, drill battery ran out, so it's taken me an hour to recharge, but hey, you would know that if I didn't tell you, because you probably aren't sitting there for an hour waiting for this movie to come back on. Anyway, in the meantime, I've also tilted the saw blade to 45 degrees, and it is nice to make sure you've got it zeroed to the table if you want a proper 45 degrees. That's where I buggered up the last time. So, okay, when we make our first cut, you will notice that that's hopefully that'll put our 45 degree cut in there, and if you've place your screws in the right place, and if the screw holes haven't moved magically, I should miss the screws. So let's try it and see what happens. Here we go. Oh, how about a bit of blade? Let's give it a bit of oomph. There we are, we're coming through. Let's go a bit more dramatic, hey? And there you have it. You now have got, not like the other time, because as I said, I've got no idea why I had 4 pieces previously. Now I've got 2 pieces, and with only 2 pieces, being totally different sizes, I don't have to number them. Even a dummy like me can put them back into the slot. And that's basically it. Now, I point out a few of the other features of this table saw by getting on the other side, or the camera on the other side, and hopefully we can continue from there. Here we are on the other side. Some of the more observant people would have realised that I've got this extra long Incra double T-track sitting on the fence. The reason why I use a double T-track is so I can place this sliding scale on top of it and move it on to adjust my settings. What I do is I position the saw stop, get a sacrificial piece of wood, make a cut, measure it, and say it comes to exactly 201.5 mil. What I then do is line up the index point on my flip stop with the exactly 201.5 mil on the track. I move it along, line it up, and now my setting has been zeroed in. Thereafter, all my measurements should be exactly, well, correct. If you inadvertently move your T-track, this little scale, then you're buggered, but as long as you don't play around with that, you should be right. Another thing I will mention is I've got a, actually, it's, as I say, it's long. The reason for that is, well, it's a couple of reasons. I'm predominantly right-handed, and I usually do a lot of my work, especially the 90-degree work, on the left-hand side because of that. However, I find that if you need to do a bevel cut, I tend to work on this side. Now, where's my little reference? Here it is. Let's just assume you've already cut one side of it, and now let's just say we're working on this side, and you want to actually make a bevel cut along here. You'd be going up like that. Let's just transpose this to the other side, assuming that's how you were working. This sharp edge can very easily slip under your T-stop, especially if your T-stop doesn't fit right down to your fence. And again, we'll go into that before. That's why I've got shop-made T-stops, because they are flush to that fence. So if I work on this side, naturally I'd flip it over that way, butt it against it, and I can guarantee that it's not going to slip under it. Because of the fact that I do move around from side to side, this is an extra long fence. Underneath here, there's a couple of bolts. I'm not going to bore you to tears because, again, I'm sure you know what bolts look like, that you can undo and move the track, the entire track, slide it along that way. So basically the end is here or the other end. So you've just got that extra length, and hey, you can cut bigger pieces and be able to measure them rather than just mark it or whatever. Another thing, you'll notice that I have got this shop-made 3D printed, pardon me for a second, 3D printed saw stop. I've got all the fancy, fangled, dangled other saw stop. I was stupid enough to buy them. Well, not stupid enough, no, they're good. They're good in their own right. However, the problem is, if you've got a fence and you do it, you attach it, the saw stop to it with the track, and then for some reason you decide to add a sacrificial fence or some other packing or whatever, straight away you find that your saw stop can't straddle it. However, with the 3D printed saw stop, all you need to do is redesign or extend the arms on this red part or whatever, bring it out to whatever length you need to straddle it, print it off. It takes maybe an hour. It's going to cost you probably $1 plus your time to design it naturally, but that's immaterial, and put it together, and Bob's your uncle, and you can customise it to whatever you like. What else? Let me see. Oh yeah, T-tracks. I have these T-tracks here. Initially I only had a couple, and they might have been out here. Oh, for all it's worth too, these 3 or 4 wings, or on the outside, I'll call them wings, those skins, they're sort of set up in the skin configuration still. However, once you've cut one set, that's it. They never usually have to change. It's only the middle ones that tend to change. The T-tracks, I like to use these Rockler non-adjustable, self-adjustable, not non-adjustable, self-adjustable clamps. You slip it in. Oh, by the way, these clamps come with 5/16 inch hardware to sit in 5/16 inch tracks. Well, I haven't got 5/16 inch tracks, so I printed off a 3D printed this wheel, which will accept a 1/4 inch hardware, so I can use it in my 1/4 inch tracks. What you can do is then grab a piece of wood, slap it down, and that's held relatively tight. You know, I'm actually exerting quite a bit of pressure, lateral pressure, to twist that around, pivot that around. Then if you decide to get greedy and you want to get sort of like, let's see if I can count, 1, 2, anyway, quite a few bits of timber. Without doing anything to that, you've now clamped all those down, and if you want to add some more, you can, and if you want to add some more, you can't, so bad luck. Anyway, you get the gist of it. Not only that, too, this also comes from Rockler. Same principle, tighten it down. Again, I had to replace that. Actually, now that I think about it, I never use this jig on this clamp on this jig. I actually use it on my workbench. However, it just happened to be lying there, so I thought I might as well brag about it. Okay, I think that's about all. I'm going to switch it off, but if I can think of something else, I'll come back to it. See you later. Now, where the hell's that on-off switch? Where is it? Oh, there we are. What I've done is I've actually removed these new sets, and I might give them a quick sand because they are actually quite a very, very good but tight fit. You'll notice that I had hidden behind my back here the old 90-degree configuration. Naturally that still works, and if ever I bugger up the 90, hang on, let's get it right, bugger up the 90-degree, I'll probably do exactly what I've done there. Just cut one piece, cut it in half, and there you are. You see, you've got to make sure you get your screw hole oriented right. At least with these ones, it's not going to be as difficult. That one fits in there, and this one, again, I should know this by now after all these bloody videos, fits in there. And as I said, screw it up, screw it down, and you're laughing. And by the way too, there's absolutely no reason why you can't make whatever angled skin you like, write it on there and use it for whatever. If worse comes to worse, what you can do is put another fence around here, 3mm MDF fence, so you can then mark up what size, what angle you've got on there. Anyway, that's it, and let's see, yeah, well that's it. Let's see if the on-off switch hasn't moved.